at a place to have a potential conflict. When we purchase, M16s or M18s or whatever it is we're purchasing at a university, a place of higher learning, we need to be very clear that that is the perspective that they have.
Thank you for the question.
And one of the things, the sister made a point that was very important about language. Because when we look at the ways that some officers interact with our communities, they interact from a place of hostility. To take them out, take them down is the tip of the iceberg. If you listen to police radio, you will find the N-word, you will find us, people of color, described as monkeys. You will find Latinos described with the word we don't like to use for our Latino brothers and sisters. You will find gay people. Gay people talk about in ways that are absolutely disgusting. One of the things that we've talked about before Soledad is the fact that too many police officers have not been educated. Some of these folks have walked from somebody's high school onto a police force. They're 18. Do you know that your brain is not fully developed until you're 25? I mean, do you know? So you can get an 18, 19, 20-year-old, a weapon. I do not want your half-brain walking around with a weapon in my community. They need to go to somebody's community college. They need to go to somebody's 4 year. They need to take some sociology courses. They need to take some African American studies, some Latino studies. They need to know how to speak somebody's language other than English and ignorance. So we have to look at some of what's going on. The language issue and the education issue are both very important.
All right, our next question right over here. I'm not sure there's a mic in that hole. There is? Okay, great. So let's take this question here and I'll get to you next. Go ahead, sir.
What I wanted to say is one of the most important rights that we have as citizens is voting. By voting, you also are registered to serve on jury duty. I work in the federal court system, and one of the issues that we have there is that we have so many minorities who always give excuses of not serving on jury. We always complain about having the representation of our peers on jury duty, but you refuse to come into the court system and serve on jury duty so we can have a representation of our peers on juries. And also, for the panel, out of the 94 districts that are in the United States, the U.S. Attorney's Office, I want to know how can they put a focus on 70,000 policing agencies across the country? And I'll leave you with that.
I think he brings up a great point, especially about engaging in the system. I think so many people are so dissatisfied with the system, especially young people, that they decided not to participate in it somehow. And I'll just tell you, that actually works in favor of the enemies and the adversaries. You have to engage in the system. And so when he talks about so few people of color serving on juries, that really affects the incarceration rate. That affects how you're treated by the judicial system. So you have to engage. Also, the local politics and local elections completely matter. In Ferguson, one of the problems, and one of the reasons you saw the police department take an adversarial approach to the community, is that almost none of them are from Ferguson or live in Ferguson. The elected representatives of the city of Ferguson are almost all white, even though the population is 2/3 black. And because that black population is not voting and is not engaged, is not representing the local governments, and it has an effect.
Great. Right over here. Go ahead.
Hello. When it was said that we were okay with how police acts and why we didn't protest against certain things, how would you give, or what advice would you give to individuals that are raising black men in America to avoid these things, or to actually present that with some kind of respect?
That's kind of a $64,000 question. And when you were talking about people don't protest, here's how I read that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I read that as I grew up in Long Island, North Shore, 99.996% white community. If a police officer stopped and frisked the number of kids that are done in the young man that I showed you in bedroom size, literally, it would be a front page story in the New York Times. People would lose their heads. They would go crazy, right? It would just be they just wouldn't stand for it. So I thought what you were saying was this idea of people in communities are clearly okay with over-policing black communities because they're not really protesting and they're not necessarily going, if it happened in their own communities, they go insane. In other words, so here's what I think has to be done. I think it's a combination of all of these things. I think when you have political power, as we talked about in our presentation, you can move the needle, right? That clearly has some kind of an impact. But political power is an action. You can't sit around and no one just hands it to you. You actually have to go and do something. Then you have to go into the court system. And there's things that you actually have to do and not be frustrated in not feeling like you're not getting full citizenship. You have to kind of go and take it, I guess is what I would say. I don't know that that's a complete answer to your question because I think your question is the question. But I think that has to be the start.
You know, two things quickly. You asked about young black men and what to do, and I think Soledad captured the frustration of the young men who've been stopped 100 times and the advice that his mom was giving to him, which is a frustrating kind of advice. And any of us who had young black men in our lives have had to teach them, much to our own pain, how to be deferential, how to be beneath the wire, how to put your head down. And it hurts to do that. It hurts for me as a confrontational revolutionary to have to tell my nephews, dude, just don't say anything. Just hold your tongue. Let me know who it was. I'll get them. But you know, it's painful, but it's something we have to do. But the other thing that I think that we very much have to look at when you talk, Soledad, about the front page New York Times in Long Island, it wouldn't be front page New York Times in Harlem because people would say, oh well. It's just like the runaway bride, white girl with issues, runs away. Nobody abducted her. She had cold feet about her wedding. So she jogs, she books. Nobody can find her. Tens of thousands, if not more, of dollars are used to try to find this woman. How many black women go missing? How many times do we hear the stories of that? So I'm not sure